Do-do-do. All right, War of Turkish Liberation, turn 11, the final turn. So here we are. We got the Turks are trying to hold out. There are these two cities, Afyon and Eskensehir. I'm not exactly sure to pronounce that, but that's their goal, is to just hold these and prevent the Greeks from taking one or both, and hopefully that'll give them enough leverage to actually win this war. In the meantime, Armenia continues to hold out somehow, but they're preparing for what is almost assuredly going to be the last assault that the Turks are going to be able to make on Kars and go for that final win here. We'll see what they can do. It's going to be close. Yerevan, it's almost assuredly not going to fall, though, because there's just not enough forces around to actually do it. Although the Bolsheviks, I guess, could make a try for it, but they'll only be able to get 2 units in for an attack. I don't see the point, but maybe they'll try for it. We'll see. And apart from that, it's just the final phase. Azerbaijan fell last turn. We do have high prestige for Turkey, which is going to be very important for that extra combat shift in Kars. French had withdrew last turn, and Adana was occupied. And now we move on to the final 2 events of this game. Let's see what we get. What's our first one? Turkish USSR Treaty. Turkish player receives an additional 2 replacement points for this turn thereafter. Treaty is no event if the Imperialist forces control Trabzon, Erzurum, or Sakaramesh. They don't. So this would have been nice a few turns ago, but at the very least, extra 2 replacement points for the Turks. And here we go. We got our last event of the game. It's a no event. All right. So what was the last possible event we could have had was another Turkish weapon purchases. So that would have really been great for the Turkey on this last round. But without that, they still at least get 8 total, thanks to their high prestige and the USSR supporting them. Let's move on to the Turkish replacements. They have 8. That's really good. Okay, so let's bolster everything that we have near Armenia for this final push. That's 3. Anything down there that needs bolstered? No. Oops. So that was 3. Is there any reason to do anything else here? Not really. 3. I don't see. Let's try to maybe turn this unit, because they could capture Van, which, actually doesn't matter at this point. So never mind. Let's go with maybe. Well, let's reinforce this. So that would be 4. So we have 4 left. Let's get that air support token. We'll get, and I think maybe we'll get 3. No, we'll just get 2 supply depots to take over for this last push there. We got 1 point left. Is there anything we really want to do? Oh, I just remembered. I wanted to use the Free Kurdistan at the beginning of the turn for the Imperialists. That was 2. Okay. That's 2 Turkish guys in Kurdistan, not the city. They can't be put in the city, though. Okay. Hold up. So let's back up for a second. I think I'll remove this supply. That'll keep them with 2. Let's try to subvert this unit here. We succeed. So that unit's gone. Do I want to actually spend the last point to try to subvert this guy? Or should I just build a unit to maybe attack? Do we have a cavalry unit I could build? I don't think so. Let's just try to subvert. We succeed. Okay. So Kurdish rebellion is stopped. Okay. Nice. But that's the last of their points there. Bolsheviks got 2 points. They'll buy their air support. And, I mean, it doesn't really matter at this point. I guess we'll buy a supply convoy, because sure. And let's move on to the Imperials. We got Armenia here. They're going to bolster this guy. And there's no point in buying another supply convoy, so instead we'll just be annoying. Get another irregular. And then Greeks got 4. They don't have anything they need to bolster, so we'll get 2 not supply convoys, 2 air support markers, and then I think we can get 1 supply convoy and 1 cavalry brigade, and that will cover the replacement phase. Move on to operations. We have the Imperials. We'll move into capture van, because whatever. So other than that, I don't think there's anything else Armenia is going to bother with. Yeah, so that'll be the end of that. On the Greek side, the chances of taking Afyon are very slim, but we got to do something. Move this guy out. This guy in for just that little bit of combat power, extra combat power. It's for the end of the movement phase, so we can actually temporarily overstack. I think this guy will go back here. And we'll have to make an attack on Eskişehir. So I don't want to overstack though before the actual attack, because if it fails, I'm just going to end up taking really bad attritional damage, so I don't want to do that. This guy, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's good enough. This is going to probably just be bad and bloody, but we're going to give it a shot. So Greeks attack into Afyon with these 2 stacks. So we got 4, 7, 10, 19 against 9. So 2 to 1. 2 to 1. Rough and City drops it to a 1 to 2, both expending a supply convoy. So then the Greeks are going to use their, you know what, hold on. I should put this guy here, because he may be able to be pulled in to one or both these fights with the recon. Anyway, so it's still 1 to 2. No, it's 1 to 3 because of the prestige, so it's 1 to 3. They're going to deploy their air force. It's potentially be a terrible, terrible move. Let's see what happens here. Deploying the air force for the Greeks. Gets a 3, is a recon. So they can bring in their extra 2 points, which is not enough to actually do anything, but does not elevate us up. So we are just attacking at a 1 to 3. So we pretty much have to get a 6 to do anything, otherwise this is just a horrific mistake. Nope, got a 2. And a 2 on the 1 to 3. 4 losses to the attackers. We'll take 3 hits on all the, or 3 hits here. And we'll do 3 hits, 1 hit here. And with that, we'll go on to this attack into Eskişehir, which, now that I'm thinking about it, we're gonna end up on the same boat, even maybe 1 to 2 at best if our Air Force works, air support, but it's just gonna go. It's still probably almost surely gonna go poorly. Because the best result we could get is a 1-1, which is not enough to do anything, and potentially open us up for a harsher counterattack. Like, this spot is very vulnerable now. Yeah, I'm gonna say never mind. I'm just gonna forego. No, you know what? It's the last turn. Let's just do it. Let's just do it, because Recon could pull in a decent amount of some extra strength. I don't know if it's enough, but it'll pull in some. The defense value is 10. Okay, so we got 2, 6. Okay, that's 6, 8, 14. 14. So it's 1 to 1 down to 1 to 3. They'll expend it. They can bring it up down to the 1-2 by expending the supply column. So it's the 1-2. Or no, wait, because of the prestige. Well, they can't go farther than that. So it's 1-2. I think I'm doing that right. I might have been doing combat wrong with how I've been calculating the odds, because I don't know if it's overrides it or if it's like final. I'm not. I guess it'd be 3 shifts against 2. So no, it still would be. No, I guess it still would be. It would still be 1 to 3 actually. Never mind. I was doing that before, so it'd still be 1 to 3. No, it's taking too many losses. No, we're not going to do that. There's no point. Just a bad call. Really needed all 3 of those guys hitting. Oops. All 3 stacks hitting there, and even then, I don't think it would have been enough. I think the best we could hope for was a 1 to 2. Well, 1 to 1 if the air support worked, I think. Regardless. We're not going to do that now after the attack at Ofyan. Okay, then next up we got the said the Armenians aren't. So now we move on to the revolutionary phase. Turks, pretty much the only one that matters. Bolsheviks aren't really going to be doing much here. I'm going to move this guy in with Ataturk to participate in this attack here. I think that's the only thing that's going to change, and then we're just going to be throwing in everything into cars. So, yep. Still got the 8 defense. 7, 9, 10, 13, 14, the 17, 20, 22, 25 against 8, so it's 3 to 1. City and Rough drops it to 1 to 1. Both are expending a supply. But with Ataturk and the National Prestige, it goes up to a 3 to 1. So we finally have a decent attack. Decent attack on cars. We need... I don't know if that's still enough on a 3 to 1. I mean, I'm still going to do it, but 3 to 1, yeah. Oh, air support. Right, I forgot. Air support can shift it. We use the air support. So if we get this shift, we have it to the 4 to 1. I think we have a chance of... Oh, no, even then. We can only do up to 3 damage. So I'm still going to try it. We do get the left shift to 4 to 1. Let's roll. We get a 6. So we got the best possible thing we could have gotten. A 6 on the 4 to 1 table. That was 3 damage. But it's not enough to actually finish cars. So we needed 1 more column shift. Oh. There was nothing else to give me a column shift, right? If I've been screwing up concentric attacks or anything, just double check. Come on, give me something. Oh, combat. Oh, come on, anything. Nope. Calculating combat odds. Oh, no. Nope. Odd shifts, no. It's all air support. Naval gunfire. Terrain, no. National prestige, irregulars in city. Nope. Center attacks is only for dealing with irregulars. So we do not take cars. There's no way to get Bolshevik forces to help. So that will be the end of the Turkish combat phase in the east. And I don't think they're going to do anything in the west because, I mean, they could have tried moving guys around to counterattack here, but it's not. I'm not going to bother. So that's it. Onto the Bolsheviks. Even if they move guys, close to Yerevan, they don't have the forces to actually do anything. They could attack if they get moved into. So they moved into 2 cavalry divisions. We got 6 attack against 5 in mountains. It'd be rolling on the 1 to 3, and so there's no even if their air support works, they're on the 1 to 2, and they can't actually do enough damage to win. So there's no point. So that's the end. That's the end of that. Into turn segment, I'm going to calculate. I'm just going to roll for these 2 because I don't know if national prestige counts for victory points. So they do go up into 8. So the National Assembly is at a high prestige, and the game is now over. So we're going to do victory point calculations, and I'm very curious to see who wins this one. This will be fascinating. So a couple final words on. Well, I'm not going to have final words on it yet. Let me do the victory point, and then we'll go. Okay. Victory point conditions. All right. Greek forces control Smyrna is okay. So here, victory is determined at the end of turn 11. If the Imperialist VP is 4 or higher, the Imperialist player wins. If the total VP count is 3 or lower, Nationalist player wins. Okay, if the Imperials have 4 VP, they win. Let's see how this looks. Greek forces control Smyrna. Yep, that's 1. Greek forces control Afyon, and Eskahir. Okay, so that is no. They do not control it. Imperialist forces control Adana. Nope. Armenian forces control Sarakamish and or Kars. They do control Kars, so that's 3 total. Okay, here we go. Britain is at war, no. Italy's at war, no. If there are any Armenian units mapped, if there are any Turkish rebels in Kurdistan, +1/+1. There are Armenian units on the map. That's a total of 4 victory points. That means the Imperialist player wins. So the holdout of Armenia gains an Imperialist victory despite the Greeks. Well, the Greeks did both better and worse than they did historically. So let's elaborate. What I mean is historically they made it to pretty close to the river outside Ankara. They were at one point within heights that could see the lights of Ankara. They're within 60 miles. So they were pretty close. But the Turkish counterattack pushed them back all the way, and the Turks eventually captured Smyrna. So they both did better and worse. They held this line outside the Greek zone with Bursa and Balkasir, but they did not succeed in pushing as far as they did historically. They just maintained their line. That's pretty good. The Armenians did better than they did historically, because they fell historically. So this, I think, is where the Turks erred the most by far. I should have been building more supply convoys up to here and probably a couple more units ported in when I was slugging it out with the Armenians. If I bring those supply convoys up, I would have been doing, I think I would have done enough damage to cars that I would have taken it this last turn at the very least and would have finally ended Armenia. And yeah, that was really where it killed me. I did not play that as well as I could have. I probably should have been using some of these Bolshevik units to... I should have been sacrificing them. I basically should have... What I think I've done is kept like a stack of the Bolshevik units here and just been attacking to wear out those supplies. Well, then again, I don't know if they even would have used them. It's hard to say. I'm not sure. The other thing I could have done when the Bolsheviks were kind of over here is move these Turkish units back and let the Bolsheviks surround and attack the weaker Yerevan. That might have been a good idea. I could have tried sliding the Turkish units even into Yerevan. There were at different points. I had different opportunities that I ended up not taking because I thought I'd be able to just batter my way through cars, and that was a mistake. They were able to hold. So that's a lesson learned there. As far as the Greek side, I should have been more aggressive with the Greeks, and I needed to try to attack the weaker points of the line in the Turkish side, even if the odds were not necessarily great, and avoided attacking the cities directly, I think, or trying to attack across the river. I should have been trying to push down in the southern region, especially where I was doing well here, and try to outflank Afyan. And I need to be pressing hard and need to be doing it early. Instead of trying to wait for Balkasir to fall, I should have been still pressing in the south and trying to do both at once. And I think if I was just with a little bit of luck, I think they would have been able to pierce this southern area and force the Turks to back up even more, or at least spread their line out to make it weaker, which would have been more opportunities because we had at least numerical superiority. So that would have been a good move there. Bolsheviks, I'm not sure if I should have actually pressed for Azerbaijan sooner, or if I should have maybe even ignored it more and just focused on getting Yerevan. I'm not 100% sure. That's kind of my thoughts of like where I did things wrong. I will say this though, I think this game is very good. Decision games is a little iffy sometimes, but I think the Italian Ottoman War game was very good. And I think this game, or I say it was pretty good. I think this is a very good game, and it actually plays pretty fast. I think I'll even play it again before I go to the next one, or just off camera, because I try some of those different things I was talking about to see how it goes, and I'll get different events, and we'll see how well we can push. It definitely looked in the beginning, especially with Georgia falling so fast, that I thought I'd be able to steamroll through Armenia faster. But some of that bad luck on trying to chase down the irregulars and these mountains just make it so tough to crack. Armenia is a small nut, but a very, very hard one. Don't take that sentence out of context. And so there you go. That was the War for Turkish Liberation. I think I'm going to play it, like I said, I'm going to play it again, I think off camera, before I move on to my next one. So I'll give a little sneak peek of the next filmed game that I'm going to do. It's going to be 1866, The Struggle for Supremacy in Germany. I think this will be a pretty cool, fun one. It's by Compass Games. This is not like a magazine game like the other two I've done so far. This is a full production game. And it should be pretty interesting and a lot of fun. It's card-driven. It'll be a little different. I'll explain a little bit about how it works and whenever I do the intro video. But it's the fight between Austria and Prussia, and Italy's kind of a side thing there, and possibly France too. So it should be a pretty cool one. Higher production value than the two games I just played, and a little bit more complicated with even more kind of things to think about, which might make it an even worse playthrough than the ones I've done, just because it's definitely more draining to try to talk about this stuff while I'm thinking about what to do, and it's harder to make the right decisions because I'm trying to talk and I'm focusing more on talking and explaining rather than just sitting there thinking and playing. So maybe it'll be all right, maybe it'll be awful. Only way to find out is to actually do it. So I'll catch you next time. See ya.